media, if I'll have everyone come in, take a seat, we'll get going. Welcome everyone to the 2026 Final X presented by Kerberos Capital Management press conference. We have our men's freestyle lineup kicking us off this morning. Before we get going, I just want to remind everyone of our schedule for tomorrow. 12:30 will be our True Third matches. 2 p.m. will be round 1 in the Final X Best of 3 series. 5 p.m. will be rounds 2 and, if necessary, round 3. Tickets are still available for those who want to show up to the Prudential Center tomorrow. If you are unable to attend, stream it live on flowwrestling.com. Just discuss our mode of operations for the press conference before we get started. I will start by introducing our panelists. They will each be allowed an opportunity for an opening statement, and then we will take questions. If you can, just raise your hand, and we'll point you out, get you a microphone, and ask your question, state your name and outlet, and we'll keep going. So I will start by introducing Bob Seidel. He is the Executive Director of Beat the Streets, New York. Bob, if you'd like, have an opening statement for us.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Bob Seidel, the Executive Director of Beat the Streets, New York City. We are excited and honored to be able to bring Final X back to the tri-state area and back to the Prudential Center. I'd like to start off by thanking some of our partners, the Prudential Center, its staff, especially Dylan Wanagal, USA Wrestling, Rich Bender, Pete Isaias, Richard, and the rest of the staff. It's been wonderful to work with you guys, and of course, Flow Wrestling. I think together we've worked for months now to put on what I think will be one of the best Final X's that we've had. As you all know, Final X features some of the best athletes in the country and the world vying for a spot on Team USA and to compete in the World Championships this fall. It's sure to produce some memorable moments that we'll talk about for days, for weeks, for months after the event has passed. But off the mat, Final X also has a larger impact. Final X serves as the chief fundraiser for Beat the Streets New York City, and the money generated from this event provides programs for over 4,000 student athletes, grades K to 12, from all 5 boroughs of New York City each year. These programs include world-class year-round wrestling training at our facility in Manhattan, social emotional learning programs, life skills, college and career prep, and mentoring opportunities. The goal of Beat the Streets is to use wrestling as the vehicle to equip our student athletes with the skills necessary to succeed on the mat, in the classroom, and in all their future endeavors. I want to thank all of our supporters, past and present, and for anyone who's new to what Beat the Streets does, I'd encourage you to please donate at www.btsny.org/donate. It'll be your chance to make a difference in a wrestler's life and give them the opportunity to succeed. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. I'll now introduce all of our athletes on the panel. Athletes, after I introduce you, I'll just ask you to give an opening statement on the opportunity to compete at Final X for a spot on Team USA, and then if you have any thoughts on your series that you're going to be competing in tomorrow, that'd be great too. Okay, we'll start with Zahid Valencia. Zahid is the reigning 86-kilogram world champion for Team USA. Zahid, if you have an opening remark.
What's up, everyone? I've gotten the pleasure to wrestle here a couple times now, and it's been awesome. So I'm excited to be here again, and just honored. As you said, I was last year's world champ. So I'm excited to replicate that, and I get to wrestle Dake again one more time. But I'm just gonna go out there, let it fly, have some fun, and I believe that this is my time. He's had his time, so 2026, 2027, 2028, 86-kilogram weight class is mine.
Move to Spencer Lee. Spencer's wrestling at 57 kilograms tomorrow. 2024 Olympic silver medalist, was a Final X champion and world team member last year. Spencer?
Yeah, I'm just super excited to compete again. It's my second Final X. I'm just glad to keep it going strong. And I have a great opponent tomorrow. He beat me at the Open, so I'm looking to get that one back, and I'm excited to have a great best of 3 series with him tomorrow. So.
Thanks, Spencer. Jax Forrest, wrestling at 61 kilograms. Jax is a Final X champion and a returning World Team member for us as well.
Yeah, I'm also really excited. Last year I was in Final X, but non-Final X got delayed, so I wasn't able to wrestle here at the Prudential Center. And so technically, I like to think it's my first time here wrestling a Final X, and so I'm really excited and, looking forward to wrestle someone who's very different than how I wrestle, and it's going to be fun, and I can't wait to wrestle and then go back and watch these matches for lots of years to come.
Thanks, Jax. James Green, he's wrestling at 74 kilograms tomorrow, 2-time senior world medalist, 7-time World Team member, looking for number 8. James?
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here. Especially after a couple years of actually watching and not participating in the Final X here at this arena. So it's cool to finally get the chance to wrestle and get an opportunity to try and put my best foot forward and wrestle David. I've never wrestled him before, so we trained a bunch together, and now it's time to compete. And really just excited to, go out there and put on a show for you guys and my friends, family, and always look back. I actually want to kind of tip my hat to Flo for putting out the, all those Final X events. I actually went back and watched them, and there's been a bunch of great series, and I'm hoping, I could just add to that tradition.
Thanks, James. Kyle Dake, also wrestling at 86 kilograms, 2-time Olympic medalist, 4-time world champion. Kyle?
Yeah, just real quick, Bob, just super thankful for everything that you do for Beat the Streets. It's such a great organization, and just to be able to highlight that. It's been a while since I've been a part of Beat the Streets, wrestling in any other events, but I'm really glad that we could kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone with this, so pretty excited about that. Also just really enjoy the opportunity to compete, especially in America. Obviously we've been able to do more in the past year, but most of the time it's, way off in the middle of nowhere in some place you don't really want to compete. But to be able to be here in the tri-state area is going to be a lot of fun. I know that the fans are going to come out and cheer and have a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm just excited to compete, and I'm going to go out there and just kind of do what I do, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks, Kyle. All right, media, if you would, raise your hand. I'll call on you and let you ask your questions.
Andrew Spay with Flow Wrestling. Question for James, start things off. You've gone through, just congrats on the coaching job at Virginia Tech, new phase, new chapter in your life, but now you're coming back to Jersey. Wondering if you could put that in perspective, all the different things that have been going on in your life recently, and then what it means to compete here in your home state.
Somehow, some way, I think it's part of tradition. So my first daughter, she was actually born a couple days before Final X in Lincoln. Then my second daughter was born a couple days after Final X in Nebraska. So now after this, I'll be moving and going out to Virginia Tech. So I feel like some way, somehow, when I have the outside stress factors, that makes me more successful. So I'm just excited to be here, compete, and yeah, put on a show.
Hi, my question's for Kyle. Your Final X series with Zahid from 2018 and then again in 2025. What was the biggest difference you felt, either strength, speed, or wrestling IQ, technique, whatever, from either yourself or Zahid that made that result flip in those 7 years?
I mean, obviously, Zahid had a great year last year. He competed really well. I felt like I was pretty close, and there's more than just wrestling that happens, like James is talking about. Life happens, so that's just a part of it. And I feel like I'm still competing at a really high level, and I still feel like I could be the best in the world, and it just depends on the day. So last year it was his day, and that's just the way that the cards fall sometimes. And I still think that I can go out and win, and no matter who it's against. So I don't know that I have like a specific tactical thing that was different, but yeah.
Jax, this question's for you. David Bray, Flow Wrestling, by the way. Jax, I mean, you've gone through quite a year, 15 months really, from high school to making the senior world team, leaving high school early, and then becoming an NCAA champion. Can you put that year in perspective, and how much have you grown as a wrestler in the last 15 months?
Yeah, I think it's been crazy. Sometimes, I really sit and think, I've been doing crazy stuff, traveling, been in more planes in the last year than, my whole life, and just everything with, meeting so many new people, wrestling so many new people, just talks with my coaches, going to different places, and I think it's just helped me grow so much. There's been really high highs and there's been some lows in there, but I think everything has kind of just brought me to where I'm at today, and that's just, was just my plan from the beginning, and just going with it instead of just kind of on my heels, just continue to go forward with taking opportunities when I have the chance and not looking back with it, running with it, and not trying to be 1 foot in or 1 foot out, just going all in on it.
Andrew Spay again. Question for Spencer. You've had a lot of challenges in the form of injuries over the years, and you've overcome them and continue to compete at a really high level. I wonder if you could talk about where that competitive drive comes from that keeps you coming back and working through those and still getting to this level.
Well, I think that was instilled upon me with my parents. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard my parents' background. They're elite judo athletes. My dad was a national team coach for Team USA Judo as well. So I think that they just knew that no matter what, you just move on to the next thing, or get the next best thing. And for me, it was always, it didn't matter if you were hurt, injured, sick. It didn't matter. You just kind of just kept plugging along and just keep believing in yourself. I mean, yeah, injuries happen to everyone. Everyone on this table has gotten hurt, had to compete hurt, had to compete sick. And again, like I've always said in the past, people don't really care if you're hurt or sick. They just care how you compete. So you have to just train that way and have a mindset of no matter what, you just wrestle hard the whole time, and it doesn't matter what happens, you just keep going forward. And whatever happens, happens. Like Dake said, on that day, whoever the best man wins, and so be it. We put the work in, and when that day ends, it's another day. We move on, and we look forward to the next best thing again. And so I think that's just kind of how I live my life. I love competing. I love wrestling more than anything in the world, and I just want to keep competing until my body even gives out. I don't care. And if that happens, so be it. That's just life. That's the sport, and we all love it for that. So.
Question for Spencer. How has your training changed since the Open with losing to Luke and now being at Final X?
I don't think the training really changed. I just think that it's honestly been, I think, good to compete a little more often. I've always said I compete better the more I compete more efficiently as well. So I think that we're just, focused on scoring points the entire time, not letting things get stagnant, and just, creating action, I think, is a big thing for me. So I think a lot of times I let matches get a little too slow, and people take advantage of that. And, Luke's obviously a multiple-time world champion, and he's a very good wrestler, and so we're gonna have to go out there and wrestle a good, hard match, and may the better man win, right? So.
Yeah, question for Zahid. This year, does it feel like you're coming in? Does it feel the same coming in now as the favorite? You beat Kyle last year, and then went on a dominant world championship run. Do you have the same level of confidence, or does it feel any different this time around?
I feel like I'm always confident. This is something that I get to do, something that I choose to do. It's not something that I have to do, So just having that mindset and that freedom to just go out there and just let it fly. There's no stone left unturned, and it's always awesome to wrestle with someone with that type of credentials, where 4-time national champ, multiple-time world champ, Olympic bronze medalist. So it's nice to wrestle with someone like that, but at the same time, I feel like he's had his time, and it's my time now. So I'm as confident as I'll ever be, And of course, there's a target in my back now, especially the way I won Worlds and the great year that I had last year. And then starting this year, I already took a couple losses, but it's part of wrestling, and I think those losses is what makes me better. So I think I'm at my best right now.
Do we have any other questions from the media?
One more for Jax. If you could maybe just try to talk about like the class of the 61 kilo, 133 pounders that you're coming up with, and now those rivalries that you are developing. You had them in high school, and now they're continuing on, not just in college, but you guys are already finding success in the freestyle senior level. So if you could just talk about being at that level at a young age with so many of your peers already.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool. I think it's, helped us four, have really helped us separate from the rest of everyone else and continue to keep trying to separate from NCAA to then the senior level and then the world. And I think just we've all wrestled each other growing up. I remember wrestling some of these guys when I was really young, back in elementary and middle school. And then I think just one guy starts doing something, the other guy thinks, I can beat him, and then everyone just helps each other just continue to keep getting better. And now, so it's my goal to try and run away from that and try and make a new level for me, and then there's everybody else. So I think that's going to be my goal going forward. And, I'm sure, we're all going to have crazy matches. Everyone, like these guys have been saying, the best guy on that day wins. And some days it's you, and some days, you just don't have a good day, and they have their best day. But just consistently trying to be the best on any given day is just the goal for me now.
Question for James. You made your first senior world team a year before. David made a 17 and under team. You've been on the team for a really long time. How have you maintained a high level for so long?
Just kind of, some of these guys mentioned it, it's just what we do. It's part of the lifestyle. I've always wanted to compete as long as I possibly could, and really just being consistent with my training and showing up when no one else is there and doing the hard work, doing the hard stuff. And I've had a couple setbacks. Obviously, I haven't been as accomplished as I'd like to be, but on top of that, I still showed up. So the difference between me and some of the other guys that I started wrestling the senior circuit was that I just kept showing up, even though I did have the setbacks. And I always think about that. A lot of people wouldn't have done or do what I've chosen to do, and kind of how Zahid said, I don't have to do this, I choose to do it. So I really just look forward to doing the work, right? I love competing, whether it's in the practice, competition, at home, on the game, but I'm a big competitor, so I'm challenging myself to be the best version of myself. And I think that's just kind of what's led me to keep wrestling, keep putting on the shoes, and keep competing.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, panelists. Just a reminder, we'll make the athletes available for brief breakout interviews if you'd like. Just come up to the front and we'll get that done for you. Otherwise, we will see you back at noon for the Women's Freestyle Press Conference. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Once again, Final X, presented by Kerberos Capital Management, Women's Freestyle Press Conference. Quick reminders before we get going with the presser, with our 6 athletes here. Run a show tomorrow. True Third matches will be at 12:30 p.m. The round 1 in the best of 3 series will be at 2 p.m. Rounds 2 and 3 will start at 5 p.m. Tickets are still available for those in the area and who would like to attend the event. If you cannot attend the event live, you can watch streaming live on flowwrestling.com. Just a quick rundown of how we'll do things. I will introduce each athlete and give them an opportunity to provide an opening statement. After that, we'll pass the mic around to media in the room. Just make sure you raise your hand, introduce yourself, name and outlet, and we will get those questions answered. After that, we'll have some time for breakout interviews with each of our athletes before we let them go for the day. So before we get going, I will introduce the athletes one at a time. Athletes, with your statement, I'll ask you to discuss the opportunity to compete at Final X for a spot on Team USA, and then if you have any thoughts on your series tomorrow as well. Sound good? Okay. I will start here to my right. Amit Elor, she is at 72 kilograms tomorrow, 2024 Olympic champion and a 2-time world champion for Team USA. Amit, I will let you start.
Hi, my name is Amit Elor. It's an honor to be back here at the Prudential Center and to be back at Final X. I last competed here in 2023. I had a baby last year, and I came back. I wrestled at World Team Trials 3.5 months postpartum. I have a forfeit tomorrow, but I will be cheering on everyone else and super excited to be back and be able to represent Team USA.
Thank you, Amit. Adaugo Nwachukwu, 62 kilograms. She was a Final X champion and world team member last year.
Hi, I'm Adaugo Nwachukwu. I'm excited to make my second senior world team, and thank you to everyone supporting and watching.
Thank you. Helen Maroulis, 57 kilograms. She is a Olympic champion in 2016, 3-time Olympic medalist, 4-time world champion, 8-time world medalist. I think I got them all. Helen, opening statement.
Hi, my name is Helen. I'm really excited to be here as well. This is an amazing event, especially it being coupled with the Beat the Streets fundraiser. So again, anytime I get to compete, it's an incredible blessing, and I'm really excited to be up here alongside these ladies.
Next to Helen is Amanda Martinez, who's also wrestling at 57 kilograms tomorrow. Amanda was the U.S. Open champion and Pan Am champion this year. Amanda?
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm really excited to come out and compete again this year. I'm grateful that I get to represent my team and my family. Sitting up here again with all these other former world team members, it feels right to be up here, so I'm really excited to step up and get out there and compete and put on a show.
Thanks, Amanda. Macey Kilty, she's wrestling at 62 kilograms, a 2-time senior world medalist. Macey?
I'm Macey Kilty. I'm grateful, thankful to be back here. The Prudential Center has been a good place for me the last couple of years making world teams, so grateful to be back and thankful for my support system and my training camp leading up into this tournament. So,
thanks, Macey. Kayla Miracle, 2-time Olympian, 2-time world medalist. She's wrestling at 65 kilograms tomorrow.
Hello, I'm super excited to be back here at the Prudential Center. I think this is my 3rd time competing here, looking to make, I think it's my 7th World or Olympic team, but this time at a bit bigger of a weight. You know, you guys can hold down 62 for me for a little bit. And yeah, just excited for the opportunity. And my mother said to give her a shout out, so hey mom.
Great. Okay, media, the floor is yours. Please raise your hand. We'll get you a microphone and get going.
This question's for me, Tyler Messner, Flow Wrestling, by the way. What's been the most difficult challenge competing so soon after, you gave birth?
Yeah, I mean, everything was so challenging in different ways, and there were a lot of unknowns. During my whole pregnancy, I kept wrestling, mostly just because I love wrestling so much, and it made me feel like myself. And so I guess I just took everything one step at a time. I rested at first, and then I think my first practice back was just very light drilling, 3 weeks postpartum. There were so many challenges, I can't even say that one was the hardest. The lack of sleep, like the physical trauma of giving birth, the hormones and stress, and the mom guilt of like, oh my gosh, I'm spending so much time wrestling, I'm not spending this time with my baby, or if I spend time with my baby, I'm like, oh, but I don't want my baby to be the reason that I don't continue chasing my dream. So it's continuing to balance that, and I just felt like I was putting so much stress and pressure on myself, so it's constantly just trying to find a balance and continue and keep going. And so to me, every time I was able to make the time to get an extra hour of sleep or to go to practice, that was an accomplishment. And I think I was like 2 or 3 weeks out from World Team Trials, and I was like, you know what, I'm feeling good, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna compete, and I made it happen.
Question is for Adaugo. 62, very tough weight class. You have Macey coming down to 62. She's a 2-time world medalist. What's it going to take now? You have to get past the 2-time world medalist and then to make the podium this time, should you get to another world championships?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a brawl. Macey's a great wrestler, and so am I. So I'm excited to go out there and show everybody my offense, and that's all it's going to take for me to win.
Ask Macey the same question. What's it going to take to get back to the World Championships for you and then back on the podium?
Yeah, I think it's a daily, I go into each day, trying to get better and involve my craft. So it was awesome to get to wrestle Adaugo at the Open and be able to, get challenged early in the season. So being able to make adjustments, being able to keep evolving in my craft and keep getting better, because ultimately, I want to be a world champion and be the best in the world. And to do that, you got to beat great competitors like Adaugo. So she's a great challenge, and I'm ready for the challenge tomorrow.
Kind of piggybacking off of that for Macey and Adaugo, with it being a rematch, is there a different training or like thought process that goes into that rather than just another match?
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously, I'm sure Macey has made adjustments from the Open, and so have I. It's going to be a different strategy going into this match. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think just piggybacking off of what I said, I'm going to always be evolving and getting better each and every day. So being able to wrestle Adaugo and, like she said, making adjustments. We're both going to be making adjustments from what now is over a month ago of when we wrestled each other. So it'll be cool to see what adjustments were made and see what happens tomorrow.
My question's for Kayla. So coming off of an injury last year and moving weight classes, what is the adjustments looking like for you?
I mean, I think after the Olympics and then coming back from an injury, you never know what match is going to be your last match. So I think my biggest adjustment is just having fun with it. Every single day in the room, just trying to find joy within, this sport kind of sucks. Like, it's so tough, and every single day is a challenge, and so just trying to find those little glimmers of, like, joy and peace and happiness, I think that's been the biggest adjustment. And if I wrestle the way I did at the Open and the way I did at Pan Am's, I'm feeling very confident because I was just so free, and I think that adjustment has created that new free Kayla. And when I'm wrestling free, then I just feel and I go, and it's a lot of fun, and no one can stop me there.
Helen, you've been a mainstay on the USA team for so long, so you've gotten a front row seat to see women's wrestling and its evolution and the depth in Team USA. How would you describe the state of USA's depth now compared to maybe when you were first coming on the scene?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I was first coming on the scene, women's wrestling was just added to the Olympics. There were only 4 Olympic weight classes, so it was very tough, very competitive, but we didn't have the numbers and maybe the depth that we have now. And to see just the explosion and the growth of women's wrestling, for it to be the fastest growing sport in girls' state high school programs right now, and for the inclusion of Division I NCAA women's wrestling, I think it just goes to show that we have the depth now, we have the numbers, and I think we're going to continue to be a force on the international stage as well.
Yeah, speaking of your longevity, Helen, you've climbed the mountain, you've reached the peak, you've been a World and Olympic champion before, so respectfully, why do you keep doing this? What motivates you to continue to compete?
I think love is the best motivator. So for me, I just love what I do. I've wrestled, I think this is going to be 16 World and Olympic teams, and then almost 20 overall, including age group stuff. So 20 years is a pretty consistent career. I've been through so many ups and downs. I've competed under all types of circumstances. And at the end of the day, I just love the way that sport and competition challenges you to grow and evolve and confront things about yourself. And I've always felt that as long as there's something to learn about myself or to challenge myself to step into and evolve into, then I still find joy and love in this sport.
Question for Amanda. You're sitting next to your opponent. You've wrestled her before, and obviously you didn't get the result that you wanted. So what needs to change, or what have you done to get to the level where Helen is at right now?
I feel like my goal is never necessarily just to be better so I can beat Helen, but to be the best in the world. So every day I've been just focusing on getting better at one thing. And this year, mainly, I feel like I would enjoy the practice room way more than I'd ever enjoy competing. So this year I brought practice rooms to competitions and let myself be free and creative in matches and not stress about being perfect in a match, and just wrestle how I do when I'm scrambling and having fun in the room at North Central. So bringing that to it, I feel like I've been able to just wrestle to my fullest potential, and I plan to keep growing. So really, there hasn't been too much just changes in specificity to this match, but just changes in myself and my wrestling, and being open-minded and being creative and getting everything that I can out of every match.
Macey, you've won a couple medals at 65 kilos. This year, you decided to go to the Olympic weight, 62 kilos. When did you make that decision, and what was the commitment that it took to make that adjustment down to 62?
Yeah, originally I went up to 65 just because of my shoulder surgeries that I had come back from. It was 2 years off. So coming back from that, it was just, I was up a little bit in weight, and it just made sense for me if I wanted to get better at wrestling and just focus on that. I'd go 65. So it just kind of worked out after that Olympic quad to go 65 those 2 years. And then last year was kind of heartbreaking not medaling at Worlds, and just kind of looked at the bigger picture, and I was like, hey, 62 is the Olympic weight, and that's ultimately my goal. So decided, I'm not sitting out. I don't get a free pass to the finals. So 62, my weight was good. I was still be able to get better at wrestling, not worry about the weight cut. So it's kind of what went into that decision. And I also wanted to just get my hands on those girls that I'm going to be wrestling at the Olympics and at World Championships at 62. So yeah, that's what went into that decision.
My question is for Helen. I know that you have been a part of Beat the Streets for a while, and so can you just talk a little bit about what it means to, what Beat the Streets means to you?
Did you say jiu-jitsu?
No, Beat the Streets.
Oh, Beat the Streets. Sorry, I like jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so I started before they had the Final X. That's how long I've been around. We used to have the Beat the Streets separate fundraiser, and so we'd wrestle in Times Square. They'd wrestle on the boat or in Grand Central Station, and it was always this fundraiser, and it was for the kids and for the program. And then after the Olympics in 2016, I moved here and I worked with Beat the Streets New York, and we did some athlete development and coaching programs. And so I've seen firsthand how it changes these kids' lives. I've seen what it offers them and the impact that it can have on them, and to just have done this event for so many years now and know that it's an amazing organization and they're really changing the community, and for us to get to be a part of it and in some small way contribute as well, I think it's really a blessing.
Question for Macey. You've competed at this event before, but how do you think your wrestling progressed from last year to this year?
I think just being more disciplined, persistent, and just knowing who I am as a wrestler and staying in my wheelhouse of where I want to be wrestling. I think that's been big. I have a great support system. I've always had a great support system, but I think just leaning into that kind of stuff. I have great training in Iowa City. Able to utilize Iowa Women's Wrestling Club, and then also the guys at Hawkeye Wrestling Club. So it's been great. I have everything I need. I just got to put it all together. So I'm excited to, on a daily basis, just keep tapping into what I have around me and just keep building that foundation that I want to build to ultimately become a world and Olympic champion.
Question for Helen. Helen, what is different about preparing for a competition like this from 2008 when you made your first team until now in 2026?
Oh, great question. So in 2008, I made my first senior world team. I had turned 17 the day before, and I wrestled a 38-year-old, Stephanie Murata, in the finals. The rule set was different and things of that nature, but I just remember being so excited to have made my first senior world team, and I got to go to Japan and compete there for the first time. What's different now is that I feel like now I'm closer to 38. So I'm 34, turning 35. And I think the competition is great. I think the event is great. I've said it, I probably would have retired years ago if the Team USA women's program wasn't such a fantastic group of individuals. I really enjoy being around these ladies. They help me, they push me. It's a great time. It's a really healthy program, and I think it's really amazing for women in women's wrestling right now.
Question for Amit. You're still just starting your career, which is scary to think of what you've accomplished already, but Olympic gold, 2 other world golds, and all the age levels. But what does it mean having someone like Helen here that has already has so many accolades, and it's something that can, career-wise, how does that help you set your goals and push, knowing that someone's already been doing these things out there? And when did you first see that women's wrestling was a path that you could then extend your career and do so many things in?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to be sitting alongside Helen and to have been on world teams with her because she has always been, honestly, if not one of the biggest inspirations for me ever since I think I got to train with her the summer that she was training before the Rio Olympics, and then I got to see her become the first American woman to win Olympic gold. And so she's extremely inspiring, and then the fact too that she's breaking the barriers, continuing to wrestle, right? Not retiring just because we say, oh, you know, once you're like 30 or something, you should just retire in wrestling. Like, she is breaking the barriers when it comes to that, and she's extremely inspiring. And for me, I see her and I'm like, wow, I can just continue doing what I love no matter what life throws at me. And yeah, I might even want to continue wrestling, who knows, until I'm like 40. We'll see.
Do we have any other questions? Okay. Just a reminder that we will do some breakout interviews if you'd like. Media can come to the front and speak with our athletes before they head out. Before we go, too, I want to give a special thank you to Kerberos Capital Management, our presenting sponsor of the event, and Joe Siprit down here in the front. So thank you for your support of this event. Thank you, athletes, for participating, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,